All right, welcome everyone back again to the Education Diaries webinar. So hello, my name is Gurpreet, and today we are going to be moving forward with a webinar of the CTF. So CTF is something which is capture the flag, and if you are in cybersecurity, so you basically need to know that what is CTF, right? So in actually CTF is a competition which usually takes place every year in the DEF CON. If you don't know about DEF CON, so DEF CON is something, so it's a kind of like cybersecurity or a hacking competition in which teams from different countries all over the world basically goes to US, and they basically compete with each other in the field of hacking, right? So DEF CON conference or DEF CON competition is basically based in the hacking, right? Now, of course, in starting, if you want to understand that how basically things work in hacking field, how you can basically go and start hacking the things you want to hack, some devices or products that can be that connected with the internet. So the best solution is basically go with the CTF. Now DEFCON itself is having a competition, and at the very last you basically capture the flag. Now the flag is something which is important to understand, which is kind of like information, right? So the flag is basically information, and for each level you should be getting a flag. It's kind of like a password to enter to the next level, right? So suppose for practicing the CTF or for practicing the hacking, we basically do have some competitions which is known as the CTF, which is capture the flag, and we are having tons and tons of websites which are basically used in that getting what we can say the flags. So here you can see we are having hack the box, we are having CTF, we are having one more website which is CTF 365, right? So all of these are different websites basically gives you permissions or gives you access to train or to get yourself into training into hacking industry, right? And basically you can come here. Some of these platforms are basically you can see by MIT, Kaspersky. These are some of the very we can say huge unicorn companies, right? So yeah, actually you can practice your hacking skills by going on to these websites. That's really important, right? Because as usual, if you're not familiar with the networking or Linux, using Linux, how to use these different kind of things, so that's really important, right? So today we are going to be moving forward with a game. It's basically a CTF game. We are going to be checking each and every level. We are going to be practicing all these games by understanding the commands in Linux, because ultimately if you don't know Linux, you are unable to that use the CTF. You are unable to retrieve the passwords to go to the next level. So this is a free platform with the name Over the Wire. Now it is having tons and tons of different levels. Each level is having some we can say instructions, right? So suppose we are going in the bandit. So this is going to be, you can see that at the right, or sorry, at the left of the screen, you can see we are having from level 0 to level 33. So that is something our today's task. If we can go from level 0 to level 33, as usual you must know the commands, you must know how to use Linux. Ultimately if you reach to level 33, so that means you basically retrieve the passwords or the flag of each level, right? So if I click on level 0, so you can see that the goal or the task of this level is basically, you can see that this is the task, right, which is important. So the goal of this level is for you to log into the game using SSH. The host to which you need to connect is bandit.labs.overthewire.org on port number 22 to 20. The username is bandit0 and the password is bandit0. Once logged in, go into the level 1 page to find out how to beat level 1. The commands you may need to solve this level is SSH. Now what is basically SSH? If you don't know SSH protocol, so this protocol basically helps you to connect with the server. Now of course the SSH port number should be open on that website or on that device in order to connect or get access to that device, right? So for this thing I'm going to be opening up my terminal. First of all, I'm going to increase the font size so that you can see. So first of all we are going to log in into our root. And if I'm going to write SSH here, if I hit enter, so you can see that SSH, after that we are having some options or parameters that how we can basically use SSH, right? So SSH is something really important to understand. So suppose for an example, I want to show you that SSH, so my computers, my Linux machines IP address is this, and I'm simply going to write SSH, or if I just do nmap, right, just to show you an example. So if I run this command, so here you can see that no port is basically opened right now. But if I go with nmap, what I can do is nmap.org. So if I do something like this, so right now I'm just explaining you, right now we are not playing the game, we are not doing CTF, I'm just telling you that what SSH actually is. All right, it's going to take some time, and here we are. So nmap is something a very great tool in order to scan the network or the website or the device. Now here you can see that it is telling us that the website nmap.org is having SSH port open, and the port number is 22, right? So the state is basically open, the service is basically SSH. All right, now as usual I told you that if any website is having SSH port number open, so you can get access to that website. So this basically means in our this level we are having the username, this one, on the port number, this one. So let's run the command. So in order to complete this level, we are going with the SSH, right? And after that we are going to be having a username, which is going to be this. So the username is bandit0. So I'm simply going to copy the bandit0, I'm going to paste it here, and after that the website is something at the rate. So here you can see it should be connected on this server, which is this link. So I'm going to copy up this link and I'm going to paste it here. Oops. So let me go back to the screen, let me just close this, and let me just copy this, paste it here. All right, and the password, or we can say the port number, is basically -p is basically for port number, which is 2220. So this command is ultimately going to let us connect with the server, because we already have the information of the username, we already have the information of the server name or the server link, we already have the information of the port number, we already have the information of password, right? So everything is available. If I hit enter, now it is going to see connection reset by peer, connection blah blah blah. So ultimately let me just go with if I go hit enter, so let's see if it can be connected directly. So if I do yes, and here you can see that you are trying to port which is not intended, right? So here you can see if I'm not using the port, so it's unable to get access into that, right? So if I give the port number, so I do hope so -p 2220 should work here, but connection closed. All right, so yep, so the connection is basically closed. I'm not sure why, but yeah, the connection is closed. So any other way we can do this? All right, so let me go with something like this, if it can work. All right, so yeah, the command, sometimes you just need to change some parameters, spaces and everything. So here you can see that it's basically asking for the password in order to go to the next level, which is going to be level 1, and the password is basically bandit0, right? So when you are going to write, you cannot see the password, but in actually you are typing. So if I write bandit0, so you can see that even though I typed, but the password is invisible. So if I hit enter, so ultimately we are connected with our bandit machine. So right now we are connected inside the server of the bandit. So we are inside the game right now, we are not in our Linux machine anymore, right? So if I do clear, so you can see that right now it is written bandit0@bandit. So that means now I am not using my Linux. Of course I am using Linux, but I'm connected with the server. So ultimately right now I'm going to be executing files within that server, not in my Linux machine. All right, because I do have access inside that server. So now first level is being done, we are inside that. So let's go to the next level, which is level 0 to level 1. The password for the next level is stored in a file called readme located in the home directory. Use this password to log in into bandit1. using SSH. Whenever you find a password for a level, use SSH on port blah 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 to log in into that level and continue the game. So we are having some commands which we can use in order to solve this level, right? So the password for the next level is stored in a file called readme. So there is a file and the password is inside that file. If you remember, in Ubuntu we were having something very basic command. So ls basically tells us that what are the files or directories in that particular location, right? So here you can see that there is a file with the name readme. Now it's not a folder, it's a file. So if you do remember, so for reading a file we are having cat command, and if I do cat readme, if I hit enter, so this is basically the password, right, in order to what, go into the next level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy up this password, and that's it. If I do hit enter exit, so now here you can see once again I'm just going to change my bandit 0 with bandit 1, right? And if I hit enter, so now this is going to ask for the password which I copied from the level 0. So if I pasted it here, and ultimately now if you see previously we were having bandit 0, now the name has been changed to bandit 1. That means yes, we are successfully completed our this level. So here you can see that we are using Linux commands, right? So the knowledge of commands is really important, how you manage the commands, how you try to gain access to different levels, right? So now let's go to the next level. This level has been completed. Let's go to level 1 to level 2. The password for the next level is stored in a file called dash located in the home directory. The commands which can be used is ls cd cat file du find, right? Advanced bash scripting guide. So these are some of the resources through which you can go to solve these kind of problems. Right now, as usual, let's check out if we can find something like this. Let's go back to our terminal. Let's do ls. So here you can see we are having a file with the name dash. Right now, if you remember, opening a file basically uses cat, and if I'm going to write this command cat space dash, if I hit enter, so you can see that it's not going to be giving any result, right? Because this file is not having any name. This file is basically having a name as a symbol. So in Linux machine, you cannot open a file which is having the name as a symbol. So if I stop this process, right, so what's the command for opening a file with a symbol, right? So if I do ls space dash la, now this is going to tell me the different files. So here you can see that this file is having dash. Of course the name of the file is normally dash. So in order to open any file which is having a symbol, we are simply going to have cat dot forward slash and the symbol of that file. So that can be any symbol, that can be hash if the file is having the symbol as hash. So right now we are having a dash, so we are simply going to write dash. All right, so if I hit enter, so here we are having our password for the next level. So this is a flag which we are getting right in each and every level. So now again I'm going to do exit, and I'm going to change the bandit 1 to bandit 2, right, because we want to go to the next level. If I hit enter, I'm going to paste up the password here which I copied from above. Again, you cannot see the password because it's invisible, but yep, here we are. Now here you can see it basically changed from bandit 1 to bandit 2. So I hope so that you are really enjoying the levels of clearing, how we can actually, you know, that complete up these levels. But again, you should be having knowledge of how to use the Linux, because that's really important. All right, now let's go to the next level. I do hope so that we have completed this level 2 to level 3. The password for the next level is stored in a file called space it in the file name located in the home directory. So once again, if I do ls, so now here you can see that previously we were having a normal file. We open that file by using cat. After that, we are having a file which is having a name as a symbol. We open that file by using cat dot forward slash and then the symbol. Now we are having a file which is having spaces in itself. So again, I'm not going to write again, but here if I just write cat spaces, so if I click on tab key, so this is going to be the way you have to open a file which is having spaces in itself. All right, So if I hit enter, so we are having the password. So I'm going to copy up the password again. If I'm going to exit, I'm going to change bandit 2 to bandit 3. I'm going to paste up the password here, which I just copied, and we are inside our bandit 3, right? Pretty simple. Now let's go to the next level, which is level 3 to level 4. The password for the next level is stored in a hidden file in the in here directory, right? So in here directory means there is a folder with the name in here, and there is a hidden file. Now this is something really exciting and curiosity. Like, of course, if you're using Linux, you want to hide your file. A normal person, even though if they know Linux but not at the advanced level, they basically cannot find your file because that file is actually hidden, right? So yeah, these levels are actually teaching you that how to find the files which are actually hidden. All right. So even though if you know Linux, but if you don't know how to hide your file, or even though if someone has hidden their file, how to find those files, so that's really impressive, right? So let's see, if I do ls, once again, very basic command, we are having a folder. So if we have to, if we want to get access to a folder, we just need to write cd, which basically takes us to that directory, right? So if I do ls, now here you can see in this folder there is a hidden file. That's why whenever I'm doing ls, so there is a no file, right? It's totally empty, but in actually there is a hidden file. Now that is something which we have to find, that how we can basically try to find the file which is actually hidden. So if I go with the ls dash la, so here you can see this is something dot hidden. Ultimately we do have got this one, right? So that is something you can understand. So again you can see that we are getting something with the name hidden. All right. So if I'm going to do cat dot hidden, so you can see that ultimately I got the password. So once again, it's pretty easy, right? We are using very basic commands, ls-la, to give us the whole we can say description of the files and folders inside that directory. So ultimately we do have dot hidden. By the way, you can also go with the previous command if you do remember, dot forward slash dot hidden. So this is also going to open the file, right? So you can use variations in commands, and ultimately you are having the password for the next level. So once again, I'm going to do exit, and I'm going to use bandit 4, and I'm going to paste up the password for the next level. All right, so here we are. So we are in bandit 4. Let's go from level 4 to level 5. The password for the next level is stored in the only human readable file in the in here directory. Tip: if your terminal is messed up, try the reset command. Of course, we used clear command in order to clean up our terminal. Now it is telling us that only human readable file and in the in here directory. So there are some files which are having binary codes 0 and 1. Some of the files having so many strings, values, numbers which are actually of no use. So once again, if I do ls, so we have in here, let's go in here directory. Once again, if I do ls, so we are having almost 9 files. Now again, you can see that the starting of the file is basically from dash. So if you want, you can directly do cat dash file, right? So here you can see I'm going to do 00, and if I hit enter, so you can see that it's not opening. So that's why we can go with this command, file 00. If I hit enter, so you can see that this is something which is not a human readable format, right? So again, you have to, now this is going to be a very long process, right? Now I'm going to check each and every file, then only if I see that which file is having something which is human readable format. But that is something really time taking process. Now suppose if in a directory, in a folder, we are having thousands or hundreds of files, and we are not going to be checking each and every file by using this command, right? Because it's going to take a lot of time. So that's why we have to understand that what can be the best thing which we can do here, right? So like suppose we do have some commands in which we can go with that. So let's check out. So first of all, we are in this, right? So if I do ls-la, which is the basic command, so here you can see we are having almost 9 files, and some of the files are having read, write, read, read, write, read. So there is nothing exceptional in this one, right? Let's go and use another command, which is find, because we want to find, right? So I'm going to take find space dot forward slash, and I'm going to write star, right? So if I click on this, so again I'm going to be represented with the files which are having text inside that. Right now this is fine, but like suppose if I want to find a file which is only having human readable format, so I can again use this command, but I can just write, instead of find, I can just write file. So if I hit enter, so here you can see I get something exception, which is ASCII and text format. Now this file is 07, right? So now simply I can just go with the cat command, and I can just write file 07, and if I hit enter, so here you can see we are having the password for the next level. So again, as I told you, that for each level you should be having some basic knowledge about Linux, how to use Linux, right? And as usual, if you don't have the knowledge about Linux, so it's going to be hard for you to complete levels. But as usual, if you're watching of this webinar, you can basically write the commands, what command is basically being used for what, how we can do this, so that in future if you're going to be encountering with these kind of things, so you can basically do all those things, right? So let's go to the next level. So I'm going to connecting with the bandit 5 now, and we are going to paste up the password there. So all right, connection closed. So I do think so that the level is having something different. Let's go to level 5 to level 6, and I think so it's still the same, there is no change. So all right, so sometimes it's rejecting, so yeah, please make sure to rerun the command again and again, because sometimes it might not giving up the response from the server. So we are on the bandit 5 now, that's working fine. Now this level is password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all the following properties or parameters. The file is human readable, the file is of around 1033 bytes in size, the file is not executable, right? So in the previous level we basically saw that yes, how we can find a file, you know, that with the human readable format. But right now we are having two more parameters, that the file size as well as it can be executed or not. So let's try to use this level as well. Once again, ls cd in here, because we are having a file in the in here directory, ls-la. Now again you can see we are having now more than 9 files, we are having 19 directories, not files. So these are not files, these are actually folders. If I go into a folder with a name maybe here 00, and if I do ls-la, now this folder is going to again have multiple files, right? So you can see that the complexity of each and every level is increasing. So previously we were having one directory, inside the directory we were having 9 files, and we just needed to search one file which is in text format. But right now in this level we are having multiple folders, in each folder we are having multiple files, and we have to find a file which is in human readable format, which is of that size, and which is not executable. So yeah, we do have some options and parameters through which we can use. So if I go back, let's go to the in here directory only, because we are having the folders here. So we are having almost 19 folders. So let's see how we can actually go and check for this particular thing, right? So parameters is something which is really important. So we are in here directory, we basically use ls. Let's go and write something with the name find, and I'm going to use dot forward slash. Now the type is the parameters, right? So the type is basically f. So f basically means it's a human readable format, dash size is something going to be 1033, I think so, bytes. So for the bytes in Linux, the bytes is basically C. All right, so that is really important to consider. Now after that I'm going to use an exclamation mark, and of course the file is not executable, so I'm going to write executable, and after that I'm going to be writing something to let's go with a greater than sign, dev forward slash in u. I do hope so that this command should run. If I hit enter, no such file or directory, right? So yep, there is no such thing. If I just do this one, so let's see if I get some information. All right, so here we are. I just used one more parameter. So the type is human readable format. The size is 1033cc. I ignored the third parameter. So here we are having one file which basically is of 1033 bytes, and it is in a human readable format. So the type is basically human readability. So if I go in this directory, or ultimately I can run the command cat here, so maybe here, which is 07, and it's going to be file 02. So if I directly, oh, it's going to be file 2, right? So if I hit enter, so here I am having the password for the next level. So ultimately you can see in overall only in 5 levels the complexity is so much increased. If again you don't have the knowledge of completing up these kind of games, but yeah, these kind of games are really interesting for me because these basically works as a brainstorming, right? So you have to think inside deep that how we can basically go to the next level, right? So once again, if I go exit, I'm going to change up the level from bandit 5 to bandit 6. I'm going to paste up the password here, and if I hit enter, so here we are in our next level. Alright, so let's go once again here. I'm going to be till level 10 because this is just an idea that how the Linux works. You can play multiple games, right? So today's webinar is just going to give you an idea about CTF, how you can practice your Linux command skills or hacking skills or security skills, right? So I'm just going to be completing up till level 10 so that you are going to be getting an idea. So we are in level 6. Let's go to the level 6 to level 7. The password for the next level is stored somewhere on the server and has all the following parameters: owned by user bandit 7, so there is a new user with the name bandit 7; owned by a group bandit 6, so there is a group which is by the name bandit 6, 33 bytes in size. So of course the parameters byte is something now we know 33c, right? Because the c in Linux is basically told as what? Bytes, right? So now we do know this one. So let's go back to our terminal once again, ls-la, and here we are having profiles, right? So what I can do is I can simply go with the find command, what we did last time, /dash. Now type is, again, it should be in a human readable format, right? The size is basically how much? 33c, right? So this is something here. Now there is something specific, there is a user, so I can simply write dash user, and the user is basically bandit 7, and I think so the group is bandit 6, so I'm going to give parameter dash group bandit 6, right? So because this is really important, and if I hit enter, so you can see permission denied, blah blah blah. So we do try to get access to some files, and maximum of the files give us permission denied, right? So here you can see, let's see if there is a file which basically tells us or gives us something. I think so everything is permission denied, permission denied. Any file which gave us a permission? No file, right? So I didn't find any file which is having the permission access, right? So if I give any other thing, so let's check the command once again. So it's fine, find dash type f, size 33c, user bandit 7, group bandit 6. Alright, so I do think so that it should work fine. Sometimes if the commands doesn't work, we basically use to greater than sign, we basically go with div /null, right? So this command should also work, but yep, this is working. All right, so sometimes if a command is not working, so you can actually add this and it ultimately gives you the answer for that particular command. So here you can see that we are having the directory, the file path, and I can simply use cat command. I can copy up this particular line, I can paste up this line here, and if I hit enter, so you can see I'm having the password for the next level, right? So yeah, as usual you can see that it's really brainstorming, but it's a good one. Now again I'm going to change a bandit 6 to bandit 7 in order to enter to the next level. I'm going to paste up the password here, and here we are. So let's go to the next level. We are going from level 7 to level 8. The password for the next level is stored in a file data.txt. Now this is a text file next to the word millionth. Oh, it's kind of like more complex. Now there is a file with the name data.txt. Now this is a text file. The password is stored next to the word millionth in that file. So there is a file which is having lots of words. Now there is a word millionth and the password is next to this word millionth, right? Of course, if that was something in a case of website, you can use Control F or Command F to search for this word. But if you're using Linux, so it's going to be hard, right? So let's try. Now ls-la to list. Now here we are having profile, we are having data.txt. So if I go and do cat data.txt, now this is going to be a huge file. So here you can see it is having so many words, and after every word we are having so many different passwords, right? So finding the password millionth in this file can be challenging. Yeah, you can use Command F or Control F, but you have to understand that this is not working in a local machine. So ultimately, if the file was being saved in a local Linux machine, we can use Control F to find the word million. But right now we are working online, right? Because we are using what? The server. So finding the password in this is something kind of like hard. So let's try to, with ls-la we already have done. What we can do is something we already have at the file. So let me think what we can do. Let's check out what options we have. So we commands, we can use grep, we can use sort, unique, strings, base64, tr, gzip. We can use gzip or we can use sort also. So sort can be used as well. So let's go with the sort command. Sort is going to be checking for data.txt and vertical dash. So grep is going to be taking up the word, what was the word, millionth, right? So I do think so this was the proper word. If I hit enter, so here we are, right? So sort command is actually going to sort the file, and grep is going to take, or we can say taking the word from that file. So grep millionth actually takes what is having in front of the word millionth, right? So here we are having a password. All right, so if I do exit once again, I'm going to be changing up my level to bandit 8, pasting up the password, and here we are. All right, so we are in bandit 8. Now let's go to level 8 to level 9, and here we are. The password of the next level is stored in the file data.txt and is the only line of text that occurs only once, right? So now there is a password in the data.txt and is the only line of text that occurs only once. So there is a line which occurs only once in this data.txt. All right, so we can use again sort if I'm not wrong. Yep, so we can use sort again. Let's go with data.txt vertical dash, and right now we cannot use grep because grep actually gives us what we want in that file. So is there any other command which we can use? Grep sort unique. Yeah, we can go with a unique, right? So we can go with unique dash u. Now this u parameter is actually going to give us the unique line, which only that is available only for one time, or only one time in that data.txt file. So if I hit enter, so here we are, right? So this particular thing only is in the file only one time, it is not repetitive. So I'm going to copy up this one, I'm going to exit, and this is going to be our last level of this webinar, which is going to be level 10. So bandit 9. So of course we are going to the level 10. I'm going to paste up the password here, and here we are. So let's go from level 9 to level 10, and here we are. The password of the next level is stored in the data.txt in one of a few human readable strings preceded by several equal characters, right? So here you can see that now the password is basically somewhere preceded by equal symbol. So we have to find a symbol in that file. So if I do ls, so now if I'm going to run cat data.txt, so you can see we are having something really not in a human readable format, and of course there are so many symbols. It's just going to be hard to find a password in this kind of like file. All right, so let's see if we are having something commands which we can use. Grep, sort, unique, strings, base 64, tr, gzip, bzip to xxd. We can go with the strings because strings actually gives us the only letters or numbers in that file. Right now you can see that in this data.txt we are having symbols. So what we can do is we can go with the strings command, and I'm going to use data.txt and of course vertical slash. So what we want to grep, right? So we want to grep equal to sign, right? So if I hit enter, so yep, here we are. So you can see that what are the lines which are having equal to sign, and here is something which seems familiar, that this is the password, right? So ultimately, once again, if I'm going to copy up this just to show you that yes, it's right, so I'm going to log in to the next level. But yeah, this was the last level which we do have covered, so bandit 10, and I'm going to paste up this password just to show you that yes, this is the password. So here we are, right? So we basically do get access to bandit 10. So ultimately I hope so that you really enjoyed the webinar, and this webinar was something which was just telling you, just to let you inform that see that by practicing on all these different type of games or hacking games or capture the flag games really makes you well in the commands in using Linux. So of course you are having so many different levels, you are having till level 33, level 34, so the complexity of each and every level is going to be really hard. Now once actually you complete the bandit, so what you can do is, like, suppose if I just go to the over the wire, and here you are having different games. So we are having natas, so in natas also if you go, so you are going to be having almost 34 levels, and this is a different game, this is not the bandit, right? Now you're having Leviathan, you're having Krypton, you're having Narnia, Behemoth, you're having Maze, Vortex, Manpage, and so many different type of games. So once actually you complete Bandit, you should go with the Netas, go with the Leviathan, and if you want to increase more of your that skills, so you can go to CTF 365. If you want to go more, you can go with the Hack the Box. These are some of the really great platforms to learn hacking, and of course practicing your hacking skills. By the way, if you do have any questions, so you can send an email to the education diary. Next week we are going to have another webinar, so till then take care everyone, and if you do have questions, so yeah, please do send an email. If you have any doubts, you can actually comment down also on the YouTube channel. So till then, take care everyone, and